So, hi, in the kitchen. Everybody's knocked out, so I'm gonna make myself a little bit of egg. The egg. It's not very good, just because I haven't cooked in a minute, now that I think about it. I think the last time I was really experimenting or trying to cook was actually. I want to say almost a year ago. Yeah. I I got really into cooking sandwiches. Well, I say cooking sandwiches, but making sandwiches with meat that I cooked. I made. I would make beef sandwiches with steak chuck. Yeah, beef steak chuck or beef shoulder chuck. I think that's the cut. It was a really cheap cut that I really liked because at that time it was like I think $5 like a pound, which was really good for like the price and the taste and because like it had a good amount of marbling in terms of like fat and basically it was really tasty. And I was no God, it's been almost 2 years now that I think about it. Huh. And I was really trying to get into the habit of cooking and really trying to get into just cooking in general because I wanted to cook for somebody. Um, but later on, as I got busier with like work and life, actually, just studying, like as I was doing the programming at that time, I stopped cooking for a minute. But it's funny because like I didn't really lose it. Like I still have the basic concepts in my head. Like, okay, add some oil, like add some seasoning, like make sure the temperature is low, make sure that you're not overheating it, and things like that. Like because I even got to the point where I was cooking like liver, because liver is actually one of my favorite meals. My mom used to make it when I was a kid. And everybody in the house really hated liver, and I never understood why. Because apparently, it's bitter, but that is one of the few bitter foods I enjoy. Like I actively enjoy, because part of the reason I'm so fat is because I like sugar a lot, and chocolate is like my kryptonite. Like if I'm eating chocolate, like no, I'm enjoying myself. Cause so when it comes to chocolate, one time I was able to identify chocolate by the smear. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I was like, okay, that's a Snicker, that's Reese's, that's M&M's, and like what I used to do when I was really I had a lot of free time. I used to like go to really bougie places for chocolate, and I would spend hours exploring it. And I remember even thinking, I was like, huh, why would they charge more for masapan and chocolate? Because like I don't like masapan. Masapan's fine, but I have masapan all the time when I'm eating like a Mexican candy, like from Superior. And I would go to C's Candy, and I would like just spend minutes judging, looking, assessing the chocolate, because like I'm like, you know what, if I'm gonna eat a chocolate, I'm gonna have to really enjoy it. Because during that time, I was really trying to be fit, so I couldn't just indulge in my usual habits of eating like chocolate whenever the hell I wanted. I had to make sure that the chocolate that I ate was worth it, because if it wasn't worth it, I really fucked up my diet, or like I missed my cheat day opportunity. Because there was a point in time where I was really fit. I think I was like 180 or 190, and like I was getting close to abs, because everything was really, I was walking like 2 miles every day. I was on regular days, like I would like right after the workout, the type of workout that I'm doing now actually. I would actually go jog for 4 hours, and then after the 4 hours, not 4 hours, but for 1 hour, and like actually have like a pace that was oof, I may have committed some errors. I knew I shouldn't have listened to that. So I was looking at a TikTok where apparently, like, if you let the egg cook a certain amount of time, it wouldn't stick to the pan, even if it didn't have oil. Like the pan would just keep it, would make it so that it's easy to, or like the heat would make it so, because it was so hot, it would make it so that the egg wouldn't stick, and then you would just have like really tasty egg, you know. But unfortunately, I think I was talking too long because like the video's only been like 5 minutes, but I'm like scraping off like the crust that I built at the bottom of the pan. Yeah, I was running like 4 miles a day, and I was, eating like my general meals consisted of a salad with a slice of protein, and that's where I got to get like a little bit creative for the food. Because I didn't cook it myself. I would buy the entire package. It was like a box like this big or this tall, and then like this wide, you know. And it was really really good because like it had a lot of greens. It had vegetables in there, and it had the protein that I wanted, which was like chicken or salmon. To this day, I haven't found any like good amount of salmon for that cheap of a price, like that cheap and that good. But because I think at the time that particular what is the thing called? That particular dish that they were selling, it was worth like $6-7, which is crazy because like salmon, like in the restaurants, I remember it would cost like just a slice of salmon because it was I think it was steamed or baked, but just that slice of salmon would cost like $20. And I was like, I just loved getting the salmon. It had little like tomatoes. Basically, I was eating really healthy and I was eating really, really well. But then I got fat again. And I cycle a lot. One of my old acquaintances, he would say, hey, like, do you have like body dysmorphia? Because like you jump really fast from like gaining a lot of weight to losing a lot of weight. And I think it's just because I don't stick to things properly. I'll go like 3 months intensely at something, right? But then I get bored of it and I'm like, all right, let's focus on something else. And I'm told that's supposed to be like a trait of ADHD, but I haven't been diagnosed, so can't say that I am or that I have it. Where is it? Where is my little thing? Okay, let's use that. Yeah, that works. I can't see the screen, but the camera can see me. But yeah, I think that was about it. There's no particular message here. I just wanted to make some egg. My mom had cooked the rice, and there was some already like sausages that were ready in the fridge. So I cut it up, and then I microwave the sausage with the rice, and then I cook the egg real quick, and I'm gonna add like some mayo. It's not the healthiest, but I actually kind of like mayo like this, but it has to be all mixed into the food. I've been told that it's weird or nasty, but I don't really listen well. I'm starting to realize. I think that's part of something I should work on. Because I try to listen, but then I'm like, but that doesn't make sense, or that's not right, and then I just stop paying attention because I'm like, well, I already heard you. See, I'll listen to you, but that doesn't mean I'll do what you tell me, because I used to have like a team of workers, and they'd come up to me like, hey, we need to do this, da 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 da. Okay, cool. And I would listen to them. I would stop whatever I'm doing. I would put my work down, or I would like end the conversation I was having with someone. Like, okay, and like full on engage. I'm like actively listening because like they taught me that. And I'd listen to it. I'd even write notes sometimes. I'm like dun dun dun. Okay, looking at my notes, and then I tell them it was a terrible idea. Not because I was trying to be mean, but because I was being realistic. Because I noticed a lot of the time when people would come up to me, trying to change something in a particular system that was already that either I had built or somebody else had built. It had to do more with trying to get like a slight advantage. Because like the people I worked with, they would have piecework, you know, and so piecework means that you get paid based on how much work you do. So if you do 100 objects, like you're manufacturing stuff, and it's objects that you need to make, right? If you do 100 objects, then yeah, like those objects, like you're gonna make a big buck, you know, especially if like let's say each object is worth $20, right? You do 100 objects, so you're looking at what? 20 times 10 is 200 times 100 is 2,000. So you're looking at like $2,000, right? And like these aren't the numbers. I'm just fudging numbers, but obviously they made a lot of money. That to the point where my workers actually made more money than I did, which I thought was crazy. But I'm reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it kind of makes me see why companies act the way that they do, and people act the way that they do. Which I actually really like that book. I need to make a video about it. But it confirms some of the things I've seen with my own experience. Anyways, so yeah, they come up to me like, hey, like I need you to change this because this person in the daytime did this, and I feel like I should be like this way because this is how it's gonna be better. And I think about it, and I'd really look at it like, okay, well, let's say I delay some objects and I make sure that these objects are going specifically to this group of people because that's going to make it so that this group of people get these objects out because they're faster, right? But then I'd look at the quality of this group of people and I'd be like, you're fast, but it's so messy and ugly. Like, I can see why you're fast, and I can even argue that there's some quality in there, you know, because I respect it. Like, you're one of my main people for a reason, you know? But at the same time, I'm like, no, but you're not the standard I would like to uphold, you know? Because whenever you're creating something, right, you have to have a base standard. You have to have a point of, hey, this is the bare minimum that's going to pass for everybody to accept this as something that is passable, right? And while this person would do this actual work at that barely passable level, and oftentimes actually went above it, I would look at it and then I'd realize, but even though you're going faster, you're also making more mistakes. And if I'm looking at the amount of mistakes that you're making and I compare them to the rest of the people, your mistakes are marginally higher in terms of percentage. But you're an outlier, you got me? Because if I were to treat everybody like that person, it would very quickly turn into, oh, well, he's doing it sloppily, I can do it like that too. When the person who started doing sloppily, because the top person did it, they're gonna start causing way more trouble. So this person, this is my superstar, he makes like 100 objects, and out of 100 objects, he fails 3, you know? And then I got my regular people who like do 70 or even 60 objects, right? But they miss 2 or 3. So, you know, they're still kind of neck and neck. So the quality is still there. These guys are taking longer, that guy's going faster, and I can say sloppy or whatever, but things are passing. If I were to agree to the proposed change and allow this person to do as he wants because he's so fast and he's so quick, it quickly turns into other people doing that. And these people who are not as fast or as talented, very quickly start going from 2 or 3 mistakes on the objects to, oh, hey, you messed up like 20 objects. And now it's my responsibility to fix the objects that you messed up, right? because I'm the leader. So hey, my team made a mistake, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through and fix the mistake, because I wasn't put in the leadership position because I know somebody, and I didn't even ask for the leadership position. It was just kind of handed to me because of my quality was the highest, and I was doing things others couldn't, right? And I was taught, hey, a leader should lead, and the leader should fix the issues of his people, and he or she, I'm saying he because I'm talking about me, a leader should lead by example, right? So if I'm going to be doing something, I'm going to do it right. And if I'm going to be expecting you to do it right, that means I already did it right, and I already know the whole deal. So yeah, I look at it, and more often than not, these changes that would be requested, they would be for a individual rather than the group. And when I put it up against the group, I'm like, no, this is going to ruin the group dynamics, or even the group cohesiveness. And that's why I'm like, hey, like, I'll listen to you. I'll stop, like, hey, I'm playing some video games, or I'm reading, or I'm eating, or I'm whatever I may be doing. You're important enough. You requested my time, my audience, my attention, because I don't just give that out freely. Most of the time I avoid people, especially back then. So you deserve my full and undivided attention. And I realized, oh, hey, like, this isn't for the benefit of everybody. This is just for the benefit of you. And I can't do that because I have morals. For my own self-imposed morals, like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, you're going to change the world and save it. But it's like, no, I want things to be fair. I want everybody to have the same kind of opportunity. I want everybody to have the same kind of shot. Even if I don't particularly like you, I'm never going to move against you, because that's just not who I am. I am sorry, I don't care enough about you to hate you. In order for me to dislike you, I would actually have to care about you, to know you. Does that make sense? Like, you matter so little in my life that the amount of effort I have to spend to actually feel like I dislike you is not worth it. So if I don't care about you, I'm not actively going to do anything against you, so I want to make sure things are good for you too, like, hey, like, you came in late, well, it sucks, bud. It happens. You made a mistake? I've made plenty of mistakes, it's fine. You have an emergency? Take care of your family. I'm not your family. I see you 8 hours a day. That doesn't really mean much. We're all just there because we're getting paid, Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that I really love about Poor Dad, Rich Dad, right? So it has to do, right, with the idea that we work because of two emotions, right? Fear and greed. And they're not, and it's not being said as a negative thing. It's not like, oh my God, everybody is evil, because everybody has these feelings, everybody has fear, and everybody has greed, and nobody wants to do anything just because they don't want to work, right? Or everybody's being taken advantage of because they have to go to work, because they have to pay their bills and all this, okay? Yada, 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 yada. Cool. They work because they have to pay their bills. So if you're at work because you have to pay your bills, regardless of how much you may like me as a person, as an individual, as a friend, a manager, supervisor, X, Y, and Z, you're getting paid to be there. You don't want to be there, because if you wanted to be there, you wouldn't be doing it for money. You would be doing it for free, right? But that doesn't make sense either, because you do need money. Like, I like money. I've come to the point where I've secured a life for myself that means I don't have to go work for somebody else. I work for me. So I'm still working for somebody, but I'm working for myself, right? And taking all that away, like, you still need money, because money makes things easier. I want people who work with me to be okay to work with me. I don't need you to be happy. I don't need you to be angry. I don't need you to be sad. That's just the state that you're in at that point in time. You lost the game. You're upset. Cool, bud. Get your shit done. Make that object for me. You have an emergency. Hey, quite frankly, this object does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Go take care of your emergency. You're really, really happy because you got married, you found the love of your life, you want something. I'm happy for you, bud. Can you please take care of this? Because otherwise I'm going to have to do it. That's why I mean, like, I don't care enough about you to hate you. But I do care enough to try to make things fair for you, right? Like, I would never want to actively take advantage of somebody because I'm like, hey, like, I'd like to think I'm a good person. And see, that's another thing where I'm listening to some like philosophy, right? And the idea that a person is a good person because they think that they're a good person, right? And they define themselves as a good person just because of the social construct of being a good person, right? A good person doesn't exist because a good person is just relative. The old man of yesterday is the villain today, and the young man of today is the future villain of tomorrow. Not because they're malicious. There's literally a saying, all the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So that means that you could do bad or you could do evil with the express intent of trying to do something good, right? But by that same motion, I look at life and I'm like, hey, like, nihility is a thing. Like, sometimes I enjoy cosmic horror, right? Because it's the idea that in the grand scheme of things, human beings, Earth, is just a speck of dust, right? It is the tiniest little particle, right? It's smaller than anything in the world, right? Because to us it's huge. It's the whole world. Like, that's, what do you say to somebody that you love and that you want to have them understand just how much they mean to you, right? We say, you're my world, you're the world to me, you are the sun, you are the moon, you are everything to me, right? Because we think, to us, because we're so small, these things are so incomprehensibly huge that to us it quite literally means that we're devoting everything to this person or this thing, right? But we're smaller than a speck of dust, right? We are, because science shows you this. Like, there's the earth that rotates around the sun, and then there is at least 8 other things that rotate around the sun. 8 other things that we can see, right? With the telescope, we don't need any fancy gadgets or anything. Clouds line up right, you can see other planets, right? Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, Mercury. I think I already said Pluto. Anyways, you could see these objects from afar and they're still small compared to the sun. But then you look up at the night sky and you see that there's these constellations, these huge figures in the void that is the night sky. And most of those stars are bigger than the star that we circle around. So that means we're small. Here's another point to my thought process. We're fragile. Like, humans are so fragile. They're so fragile that sometimes it scares me how fragile a person is, right? You fall down the wrong way, that person's no longer a person. That's just a pile of meat that's going to be either buried, burned or eaten, depending on where it fell. We're so fragile that sometimes we break ourselves. We have these things called mental illnesses because we don't quite know how this thing works. We have famine, disease. We have all these things that can make it so a human is no longer a human. It's just fertilizer. So you have how small we are. You have how fragile we are, right? And sometimes to me, the word insects comes along, right? Because you step on an ant, you don't really think about the ant. It's like, well, that sucked. Anyways, what am I gonna eat? What am I gonna do? I'm kind of hungry. You don't stop to look at the ant anymore. You just continue living your own existence. But that ant had life. That ant moved. You can't say that I had a conscience. I sure as shit can't. Not reliably. I'd be lying to you if I'm like, yeah, that ant has thoughts, processes, and everything. I'm assuming it does because it moves, but it moves. It has a semblance of life. Now, we're small. We're in a huge rock. There's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many things that do go wrong. And this is where religion comes in. You have these stories that tell you, if you're a good person, you're going to go to heaven. If you're a bad person, you're going to go to hell. Right? And I've read the Bible. And I can actually say that I'm slightly religious because there's been times where I pray. I'm not above saying that. I'm not going to be sitting here and mocking faith or religion because I've been a part of that. I've believed, I've prayed, I've touched something and I felt jolt across my arm and like, it's the Holy Spirit, you know? But at the same time, when I look at science, when I look at all that stuff, I look at it and I'm like, huh. If we don't care about the ant, why would God care about us? Because to an ant, we're all powerful. I mean, I can give it some sugar. I could, we have terrariums of ants, right? Where a person literally feeds them or gives them stuff, like you get me? And there's benevolent people who give the ants good things and like, you know, they feed them. But there's also a kid who kind of gets a magnifying glass and stares at it with the sign and, ooh, I burnt it. Anyways, we are so small, we're so fragile that I think it gives us a freedom to do good, to be better. Not because we have to, but because we can. Yes, you can do evil. And I think I read a quote that, or I'm quoting a story that I read. It was a fan fiction. Harry Potter, actually. Great stuff. A lot of lemons. Why do evil? It was a question that was being asked to another character. I think it was Dumbledore asking Harry because Harry had insight to Voldemort's mind, right? And Dumbledore's asking, why would you do evil? Why commit so many crimes? Why do such heinous things? Why tear so many families apart? Because you know who was evil. You know, Voldemort, Tom Riddle was like, he genocided people, things, you know, stood for the worst of the worst. And I think the very truthful thing is, why not? Like, you don't need a reason to do bad. Like, you just do it. It just happens. Like, you wanted something, you didn't want to take the long way, so you took it from somebody. In that action, you robbed, right? You have money, somebody else has money, you kill them for the money, you killed, right? And there's millions of other examples where somebody puts their own means or needs above somebody else's needs or wants, and it causes a negative effect on them. And there's an entire world that I could say, but quite frankly, I don't want to because it's horrible, sad, and depressing. But by that same by that same motion, I would flip it on its head and I would ask, why not do good? Right? Why not do the right thing? Like, why not clean up? I say to myself when I don't actually clean a hole as much as I wish I did. Why not be kind? It doesn't cost me anything to be rude. It doesn't cost me anything to be nice. Why not elevate everybody? You know? Why not make it so everybody has a quality of life that anybody could just look at and say, that's a good quality of life? Because there's always going to be scales to it, you know? But you can always establish that baseline. Sometimes I stare at religion. I look at it as an outside observer, because sometimes I go to church and I just stand there. I listen to the word of the priest or the father. I'm still not sure how to refer to it properly. In Spanish, we say padre. And I hear what they say, and a lot of the time I think it's beautiful, right? Not because I think that it will actually change anything. Not because I think that everybody inside of that room is good. Not because I think that I'm better than them or that I'm lesser than them. I think it's beautiful because I stare into that room and I listen to everything that's being said, and the only thing I can hear are well wishes, or I can hear are wishes of people who gathered together in a place, in a time, to say, I hope that the people who are hurt feel better eventually. I hope the people that are prosecuted are saved. I hope the people that are hungry are fed. I hope that something good will happen in the world. And I pray to a higher being because I'm just a small person. And I want to believe that there is somebody out there or something out there that can make it so all these hopes and all these prayers come to fruition. And that child that is hungry gets fed. That person that's abused is saved. The person who's doing the abusing redeems themselves. Because that's another thing, there's redemption, you know? A lot of the time I talk with people and I listen to them, and I've heard people who say that they're for God and only God. And I hear people who say they're of the devil and only the devil, right? And I ask the people who are, because I'm like, hey, like, sounds like you're getting the short end of the stick. You know, eternal hell, damnation, all yada, yada, yada. Oh, because I'm already doomed. Damn, that must be a heavy burden to bear, brother. Shit. I'm already going to hell. Might as well do what I want. Fuck, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you think you're going to go to a horrible place. But there's literally a way for you to get out of there. You know, there's the idea of regret, and there's the idea of redemption, of even if you committed the worst crimes, even if you did everything that's the worst of the worst, you could still be forgiven. You could turn a new leaf. Which in a lot of ways I think I'm like, well, that kind of sucks for the people who had all the evil committed upon them. But there's even there purgatory, where you pay, but you're not damned for eternity, right? It's something that sometimes I stare at a person and I ask them, or I ask myself, Why don't you believe in yourself like you believe in this? Right? You say you're tired. Get some rest. It'll be better in the morning. You say you want to disappear. Get some rest. It'll be better in the morning. And if it's not, I'm here to talk. And I don't say these things because I think I have the answers to everything, or because I think that I'm smarter than anybody. These are just things that work. For me, at least. Sometimes I don't want to exist. Drink some water and go get some sleep. I tend to feel better in the morning. Sometimes I think, shit, I've done terrible things by my eyes. You could choose to do better. I've ruined things. You can build new things. I've destroyed things. You can create things. When I was a kid, I used to think, hey, like, my hands are destructive because I would break things. I would take them and I'd fidget with them and they'd break, right? And as I got older, I kind of did really believe that. I only break things. I'm intelligent, so I break things, you know? But then I started to work, and I was good at working, and I slowly got promoted. And even though I eventually got fed up with that system, it taught me confidence in myself because I can 3D print. Not because anybody taught me to 3D print, but because I thought, hey, if I can do this for somebody else, why can't I do it for myself? So I did. There was a point in time where I thought, hey, I can't imagine this, so it must be this way, right? And in that, it was the idea of growing to love somebody, right? Because again, most people don't interest me. They're amusing, but I'd rather read my book, or I'd rather play video games, or I'd rather go build something, or I'd rather go do whatever I want to do, right? I'm not going to take the time out of my life to really meaningfully make a change for you because, well, it's more interesting over there than being here with you. I don't care enough to hurt you, but that also doesn't mean that also means I don't care enough to actually do something for you, other than something I feel like it won't take anything away from me, which, the kindness, hey, you're a good person, or you can do this, all this stuff, right? But then I found a person, and it wasn't their body, and it wasn't their face that drew me to them. It was their voice. It was their habits. So I found love. Later on, I made mistakes, and eventually the relationship had to end. And in relationships, both people make mistakes, but the person who ended the relationship could be said to be me. And I say that because that's why sometimes I think I'm not built to really care
Because it feels like a lot of the time what I do is really small. It doesn't take effort for me to send you a meme. It doesn't take effort for me to make a video, because I'm enjoying this. It doesn't take effort for me to drive to a place. It doesn't take effort for me to give you a ride. It doesn't take effort for me to... Hell, it doesn't even take effort for me to give you money. If I'm in the mood, think you're a decent enough person, here's money. I don't really care for it. I need it. I know how to make it. I've made a lot. I've wasted a lot. But money just isn't that important to me. So there was a point in time where I didn't believe I could love, because there was just nobody there who invoked any kind of feeling of effort from me. Then I found the person, and things happened, and I'm no longer with that person. And I don't hate that person. I can even actively tell you that I still love that person. I wish them nothing but the best. But I also realize sometimes two people shouldn't be together. Not because the people are evil, but because neither one of them is willing to compromise. Neither one of them is willing to accept. And in a partnership, that's something that you need to do. So I couldn't imagine loving somebody, but I did. I couldn't imagine making, hell, $50K a year, which, now that I'm listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's very small potatoes. And I've met some millionaires, like I've worked with them, like I've literally like had dinner and gone to their hotel and like shot the shit with them. Like they own a lot of shit. They have a lot of money. I've hung out with homeless people too. So, you know, both sides of the spectrum. And if I couldn't imagine falling in love with somebody, right? What else couldn't I imagine? What is possible? When I was 20, I couldn't imagine working for myself because I didn't know what that meant. When I was 25, I couldn't imagine leading a team. When I was 27, I couldn't imagine leading a bigger team. When I was 28, I couldn't imagine getting divorced. When I was 30 or 29, I couldn't imagine having cancer. And yet, it happened. So sometimes I stop and I wonder, what else can't I imagine? But is possible. I couldn't imagine I'd get paid $400 to clean a car, because to me that's what I'm doing. I've now come to learn that it's a very specialized cleaning that not everybody does to the qualities that I set for myself. But I couldn't imagine that. And that's why, like I said, like positive nihility, positive outlook. I can't imagine a better future, but I'm sure as shit gonna try. And I'm gonna be making mistakes, I'm gonna be regressing, relapsing, doing things I'm not supposed to. saying the wrong things, being with the wrong people. But I'm also going to be with the right people. Because there's a thought in Rich Dad, Poor Dad that it says, and I like the idea, I'm not poor, I'm broke. And those are two very different things. Being poor means you're never going to be able to earn the money that you want to, or have a lot of money, or afford whatever it is you want to afford. Whether it's a car, a house, whatever you care about. You're going to be like that for life. But being broke just means that right now I don't have that much money. Give me a month. We'll talk then. Because it's literally happened to me. I've gone from, damn, I've learned to stretch out $100 to, fuck, I don't know what to do with like 14K. You get me? Anyways, that's all to say. Thanks for cooking an egg with me. I don't know if I'm going to finish this, but it does look tasty to me. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. If you watch my fitness videos, thanks for watching them. I'm surprised because apparently on Facebook they get like 200 or 300 views, which I find is crazy. And even TikTok, sometimes I get a decent amount of views, and then YouTube and Insta as well. So that's fun. So if you watch my videos just for fun, or because you enjoy my company, thank you. If you ever find something to criticize about me, hey, I'll listen. Doesn't mean I'm gonna do anything, or that I'll care enough about your criticism to even respond. But you'll have my attention for half a second, and you know what? That's more than most of the world's ever gonna get. So, I think that's nice. There's other topics I want to talk about, like new Spider-Man movie. The idea of everybody having their own life, and every life that everybody lives is just as important as the next one. And why that means that your life is just as unimportant as the next one. Which again, gives you a lot of freedom to do good and bad, but I hope do good, because I like to do good. I enjoy people's smiles. The highest compliment I've ever received is being called a wizard. And it's because I created a toy from nothing. Well, supposedly nothing. Anyways, I already said goodbye, but yeah.